are a biopharmaceutical life science company that supports, cancer treatments and HIV treatments and all of that. So we wanted to also have an understanding of like transparency, healing, hospitality, recovery, and provide more of a SEN feel. And so big opportunity to show the scale of Gilead is to, look at those conference rooms and evaluate, are those 3 conference rooms back there really necessary? We might get more benefit to be able to expand the lobby and open that up so that we have better service for all of the folks walking in. So it begs the question, do we really need 3 of them? So we don't want to get rid of everything completely, but we can definitely shrink it down to just 1 conference room. So this teeny little lobby is not a very good representation of our company. So we're like, okay, then let's look at the occupancy data and see how the spaces are actually utilized so that there's no perception issues. So when we looked at the data, it was quite interesting to see that there was, in terms of usage, less than 2 hours a day that each of these conference rooms are being utilized. And in terms of the highest number of people showing up, we didn't need to support 12 people. It was around like more of 8 people at a time.
This doesn't happen overnight. Changing people's behavior does not happen overnight, and it is definitely an upward battle. Any of the data that we've gathered across the 5-6 years that we have been collecting occupancy data is being used to inform that build out, that programming, that the amount of workstations that are needed, the amount of conference rooms or enclosed or open spaces. Be inquisitive. Really strive to understand the why. Why are you measuring this data? Why is the data telling you this particular story? And why are you implementing a specific program?
Trying to see what else we could use occupancy data for, right? And provide us some operational savings that are in-year savings, right? That immediately contribute to our P&L, but also help us on our journey to become net zero, right? Where we could further optimize our energy consumption. The first use case we looked at was actually our cleaning operations. We had a cleaning service right after the pandemic where we cleaned our office space on a daily basis, right? And without actually knowing exactly what has been used, by using the utilization data that we collected with merchants, of really targeting and pointing the cleaning staff to exactly which spaces actually have been used and needed cleaning. And that has resulted in some significant cleaning cost reductions, right? But also there, right, cleaning less, using less chemicals and so on for cleaning is a contribution to our sustainability objectives.
Now it's much more complex. We being hybrid first, we want to offer flexibility. We no longer have that 1-to-1 desk ratio that we can predict who's coming in, and nothing is really crystal clear. But we know one thing is, the fact is that desks are less relevant in our world. Our employees are coming in for that connection, for that collaboration. So we got really creative with how we are thinking of our space planning. And it's all very flexible and very data-driven. We look at our attendance trend, that's VertSense data as well as batch data, and we come to 80-20, which is 80-20 collaboration and social space, and 20% of our space now is all focused work, because people are coming in for connection, people are coming in for collaboration. They have learned how to do focused work at home. And with the 80-20, we have developed a program called Flex Places. That's really creating places that offers flexibility and experience to allow our employees to choose how and where they want to do the best work.
I think that probably everybody is sick to death of hearing the term persona, but we have lots of personas, right? And R&D and our scientists are definitely one of those. R&D people often have bench space and workspace. We want to create, again, our goal is to create the best environment for people to be productive and have a sense of belonging, and feel good about what they're doing. You have very large investments in lab equipment. If it's only being used once a month, it begs the question, can two people share it, or how many people can share it? And so, yes, we recognize that there's very different strategy and very different data and measurements around the R&D, but it's definitely a work in progress right now, and a very careful, slow, patient work in progress. And so we are benchmarking all the time right now, and they have more than enough space right this minute. You can effectively design a building for the right amount of people, looking for the break point for all of that, so that we can then experiment with corrective action and iterate and try to ultimately get to the most predictive model for what the programming requirements need to be.
We can merge our badge and our merchant data together in a way that tells a nice picture of how the campus is being used. And then we take that data, we actually match it with our customer satisfaction surveys that we do quarterly. For the lab environment, it's similar, but there's a lot of other sensors that we're starting to bring in. And one example of that would be we're piloting how we might be able to better control our HVAC systems with occupancy data. And the complexity in the labs is also just so challenging compared to an office. We need to understand occupancy, but we also need other types of sensing data to understand how the machines themselves are being utilized when a person's not there.
We've been no stranger to plenty of, I would say, change management has been a big thing for all of us, and we leaned more into being a remote first company. And so our focus has kind of shifted from our offices being like the everyday, everybody in, heads down conference room scenario to being more event centric. I would say event focused. The in-person connection is still very big. And I think it's a huge part of our culture, as are our offices. We also very much are aware of the fact that 2/3 of our employees are, globally distributed and not near an office. So it's not just about going to meet in person. There's also the other side of things of you might just meet your team once a year, and then 2 or 3 times during the year you have these other sort of virtual scenarios where you still get to connect and bond.
Bringing in the space availability for people and make it visual, and therefore we created an employee experience app, which basically gives the employee the power to see how many places are free, so they can really see something is happening with the data, and also give them real-time availability. For example, you see in which floor how many occupancy is in a really easy way to identify, so with green, orange, and red. And on the other side, you can, for example, see the meeting rooms if they're booked or not, or let's say if they're available or not even if they're booked. So as we're working with the real-time data, and also for our focus rooms, for our phone booths, I think the response are amazing. So if they really see, you're doing something with it, and there is really change, I think then also the appreciation is really high. We have more, focus rooms, meeting rooms, whatever we need at the moment, or a specific type of layout, and then you really see what they really appreciate. Also, you're bringing in a good visualization.